on Russell Brand, spiritual guides, and how true abundance flows through vulnerability. I've been thinking a lot about people who are fortunate in this life, those who seem to vibrate with the frequency of abundance. They walk into a room and you can feel it, almost like a tuning fork that brings everyone else into resonance. Their mere presence is magnetic. What I've noticed, though, is that this frequency of abundance isn't the absence of hardship. In fact, some of the most magnetic people I've met have faced immense struggles. They don't float through life untouched by grief, addiction, heartbreak, or fear. Instead, their energy comes from alchemizing those very challenges into a kind of embodied charisma. One memory that stands out vividly for me is meeting Russell Brand, the British comedian and actor, 13 years ago. At the time, I was helping coordinate a fundraiser for the organization I worked for, and Russell volunteered to participate. Because I was the primary contact for the performers, I met him in the back of the building and walked him up to the green room overlooking the stage. His rider had simply requested bananas and almonds. I had put a whole bunch ready for him, and he promptly devoured 3 bananas, one after the other, as he greeted the other performers. Russell is a very close talker, and I remember him leaning about 2 inches from my face and asking me where the loo was. He was aloof, but there was no denying the palpable charisma that pulled everyone in. In preparation for the event, I had read his book and learned about his difficult childhood, substance abuse, and sex addiction. This event also took place shortly after his very public breakup with Katy Perry. Despite all of this, despite his fame and global recognition, when I stood behind the curtain with him waiting for my cue to send him on stage, he was visibly nervous. He fidgeted with the velvety curtain like a schoolboy about to give a speech. I made some comment about him having energy like my 6-year-old at home, and he admitted that he always gets nervous before stepping on stage. I was floored. How could someone who seemed to glide through the upper echelons of society, someone who's been on stage countless times, still feel shaky before a small crowd of 200 people? Another detail that has stayed with me from that night is that Russell didn't come alone. He came with a spiritual guide, a woman in a long white dress and a turban wrapped around her head. She hovered nearby with a calm, grounded presence, almost like an anchor for him amidst the buzz of the event. At the time, I thought it was unusual. Now, looking back, I see it as a reminder that even those we perceive as magnetic and larger than life often lean on support systems we don't see. Over the years, Russell's path has continued to evolve in very public ways. He's spoken openly about his faith and now identifies as Christian. His perspectives and alliances have shifted in ways that spark both admiration and controversy, depending upon who you ask. I don't raise this to make a political point, but rather to highlight how fluid charisma and abundance can be. They don't lock us into one identity forever. Instead, they unfold across our lives in new forms, new beliefs, and new expressions of truth. That night with Russell Brand left me asking deeper questions about what abundance and charisma really are. Is it about being unshakably confident? Or is it about carrying your humanness right onto the stage with you? The answer surprised me. What I've come to realize is that abundance doesn't erase vulnerability. Charisma isn't built on perfection or immunity to nerves. It's actually amplified by the cracks, the humanness that seeps through. People who embody abundance aren't untouchable. They are deeply touchable. Their magnetism comes from showing up with all of themselves, their nervous tics, their wounds, their resilience, and their laughter. Russell's nerves that night reminded me that even those who appear larger than life still have to walk through the same fire of human experience as the rest of us. Abundance isn't about never being afraid. It's about choosing to keep showing up, to keep opening the curtain, even when your hands are trembling. And maybe that's the secret. Abundance flows most freely through those who don't pretend to be above fear, but instead invite us into it with them. To close, I invite us to call on Aglaia, one of the 3 charities, graces, in Greek mythology. She is the goddess of radiance, beauty, and splendor, but not in the glossy, unreachable sense. Aglaia represents the glow that emerges from within when we are fully ourselves, trembling nerves and all. May she remind us that true abundance shines not from flawless confidence, but from the courage to step forward, to let our light spill through the cracks, and to trust that our presence, exactly as it is, can be magnetic.